What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, traveling around the world, filming this video right now in Istanbul, Turkey, and I just have a few more thoughts I want to share about what happened a few days ago in Jacksonville, Florida. If you're unaware, just to catch you up to speed, there was a white supremacist gunman who walked into a Dollar General store and killed 3 innocent black people for no reason other than them being black. He wrote a whole manifesto about it. It's easy to find online, and you can go and find it yourself if you really don't believe that this person was a white supremacist terrorist who wanted to take the lives of black people. The first thing I want to get off of my chest is this lie, this constant lie that people make, saying that through each successive generation of younger and younger people born further away in time from the times of blatant open segregation, apartheid, and racism that was in your face, everything will get better. Racism, discrimination, bigotry, anti-blackness will disappear because younger and younger people are getting born and they're getting exposed to different people, different ideas, and that sort of thing. It's a lie. What have we seen constantly through all of these white supremacist attacks, whether it be in New Zealand, whether it be in America, whether it be in Europe? Constantly, it is young white men who are doing these evil killings of people who are different than them. I'm not saying this to demonize young white men, because the vast majority of young white men don't do sick, sadistic, evil terrorist attacks like this guy. The same also applies to the majority of young Muslim religious men who do not do jihadist extremist activity. But nobody would say that the idea or the predilection to create the Islamic Caliphate through violent jihad does not still exist just because there are younger and younger generations of Muslim men. So how come the same can't apply to young white men or any young people in general? The point I'm making is this: ideas never die, and white supremacy is no different. Just because the older generation of people who were around during the time of apartheid and segregation and blatant racism that was in your face are no longer here or are slowly passing away does not mean that the idea has not been passed along like a torch to the next generation, which is why I say all the time there has to be a concerted effort to fight the ideas of white supremacy, not just waiting it out, not just hoping that it dissipates, that it disappears. No, there has to be an active effort to fight white supremacy because these young white men are picking up the mantle of their ancestors. Violent white supremacist attacks like Jacksonville, like Buffalo, will continue to happen because the ideas of white supremacy are being carried on through media, especially social media, like Twitter and like 4chan. Speaking of 4chan, that brings me to my second point. I peruse 4chan quite often, mostly because I want to monitor what the alt-right are saying and doing, and secondly, because the stuff on there is patently funny sometimes. And every time I click on poll, every time I click on a thread, after somebody does something that the extreme right say that they want to do all the time, like murder the undesirables, like black people, they say, it's a psyop, man. It's a psyop. For those that don't know, PSYOP is short for psychological operation. It's a tactic used by intelligence agencies like the CIA to spread misinformation to their enemies to make sure that the desired outcome that they want does happen. But what PSYOP actually means is that when anybody does something that the extreme right-wing racist white supremacists actually want to happen, they can't believe it. They're too feeble-minded and neck-bearded and fat and ugly and stupid to actually believe that one of them can actually go out and murder the undesirables, the black people that they hate so much from their mama's basement typing on their keyboards. This is why we probably need a more apt term to call them rather than white supremacists. We should call them little dick, loser, neckbeards, or just pussies, because you have to be pussy to think that the big, strong master race is incapable of crashing out and rioting for the ideas that you guys constantly put out. Every time somebody does something that the white supremacists say that they want to see happen, they can't believe it, making them pussy, calling it a psyop when it's word for word what you say should happen makes you a pussy. And this is why I don't respect the white supremacists at all. I hate you. Thirdly and finally, silence is violence. This terrorist attack took place in Jacksonville, Florida. The governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has started a war on woke. meaning he wants to attack all ideas that are progressive and actually lead us towards having a better society, particularly when it comes to teaching Black American history. And the saddest thing about this terrorist attack in Jacksonville is that Ron DeSantis's attacks on Black history will result in 10, 15, 20 years from now, kids even learning about it. Kids born today, and when they're in high school, 15, 16, 17 years from now, and they read about the history of Florida, this will not even be allowed to be mentioned in the history books. And that's even more sad. Sad. So just to summarize, first and foremost, things are not getting better for Black people just because there are younger and younger people being born. It's a lie. Nothing will get better for Black people until we actively fight the ideas of white supremacy. Secondly, the extreme right, the alt-right, the pussies online piss me off to no end when they call everything a psyop, even though it's exactly what they want to see happen. And thirdly, and finally, silence is violence. We have to be able to talk openly about America's history of hateful anti-Black violence and what we can do to stop it. My name is Simon Hill, and peace.